Louis Hine was not only a great photographer, but perhaps the greatest social photographer in history. His career essentially began in 1901 when Hine moved to New York City and taught at the Ethical Culture School. At this time, he was deeply troubled with the maltreatment of immigrants coming into the United States. And in 1904, he began taking his classes to Ellis Island and photographed the arriving immigrants in an attempt to convey to Americans that they arrived with the same virtue and hope as the founding fathers who landed at Plymouth Rock, seeking a life of freedom and opportunity. Becoming increasingly fascinated with social photography, in 1908 Louis Hine turned his creative attention toward the horror of child labor practices. For years, Hine traveled extensively, documenting children in abhorrent conditions, in hopes to alarm the public to the fact that these decrepit practices deprived children of their health, education, childhood, and any hopes of a future. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory tragedy became a defining moment. Employing approximately 600 workers, the average wage was $6 to $7 a week, and they worked 14-hour days in a 60 to 72-hour work week. And on March 25, 1911, a deadly fire broke out, killing mostly teenage girls. It was the largest industrial disaster in the history of New York City and the worst workplace tragedy until September 11, 2001. This disaster, in conjunction with Hine's long-standing work, led to legislation improving workplace standards. In 1930, Louis Hine stated, quote, "There are two things I wanted to do. I wanted to show the things that had to be corrected. I wanted to show the things that had to be appreciated." Smith and Raskip knew Hine would be perfect for recording the construction of the world's greatest skyscraper. They had an incredible regard for their skilled laborers, so much in fact, that even today in the lobby there contains plaques for the various jobs performed. In addition to a special honorary plaque distinguishing some of the most prestigious craftsmen. In total, 32 men are honored, one from each trade involved in the construction of the Empire State Building. Charles Sexton is considered the greatest bricklayer in history. With over 10 million bricks in the Empire State Building, he and dozens of other bricklayers had to work at incredible speeds, and he was honored by his fellow co-workers. Giuseppe Rusciani, an immigrant from Italy, was also considered by his fellow co-workers, and he was one of thousands selected. In March 1930, Hine began work. He photographed the workers in precarious positions, while they worked to secure the iron and steel framework of the structure. Often, he would endure the same risks the workers encountered. And in order to attain the best vantage points, Hine was swung out in a specially designed basket 1,000 feet above Fifth Avenue. And Hine, working at these heights, stated that he felt safer on that construction site than he did walking the streets of New York. These workers came from all different parts of the world, and never before in history or subsequently has the labor of a building been so masterfully documented. At the end of his life, Louis Hine was consigned to the same level of poverty as he had earlier recorded in his pictures. He died at age 66 on November 3, 1940, penniless and not to be appreciated until years later.